And we are live.
Just make sure.
Episode 2.
Technically, episode 1.
Really,
because
episode 1.
You know, we didn't release any of that stuff we recorded, but you know,
but
practice makes perfect.
Exactly, and we are
the Scrubs.
And definitely the Scrubs.
And so it won't be perfect, but you know, we're trying our best.
We are trying our best, and that's just kind of part of the theme here.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We try our best, and that's what Scrubs do. You know, they go in, they do their best. They may get a couple points, they may not, but that's why we call them
exactly.
Scrubs, you know?
Exactly. Not every week's gonna be perfect, you know, but we're gonna try. We're fucking Scrubs. We're seeing the field, so we at least need to give it our all.
Exactly. And so with week 11 coming up, we have some serious matchups. We are nearing the end of our league and nearing the beginning of the playoffs.
It's a big week this week 11 for playoff standings because everyone in our league is either ranging from 4-6 to 6-4. So, you know, I'm in first at 6-4. I have the tiebreaker against the other 6-4 team, but I could miss the playoffs if I have a bad couple of weeks here. So
honestly, it's still anybody's game, and you got to be really on top of it right now.
And this week I'm playing the Purdue Babymakers, coming in at a record of 4-6, and you know they have struggled. But if I lose, that's huge because then I'm only one game ahead of him, who's the worst team. So, like record wise,
I'm also playing your tiebreaker, 6-4. Sean's team,
Uptown Northsiders.
Uptown Northsiders.
Yes, sir.
And he's looked great last week, week 10. He came out with like 150 points. I think almost 60 more points than what I scored. And I mean, yeah, he looked great. His team's looking great. He's starting to make some trades that are turning his team into the right direction. So
right, he the pickup of J.D. McKissick, especially in our PPR league. I mean, bro, that guy's on target for literally over 230. He's on pace for over 230 targets this year. That's insanity for a backup running back.
Exactly.
I mean, what?
He's really starting to come into his role on that team, and I mean, I could see him starting over Gibson if it really came down to it.
They both had great weeks. Gibson buried me last week. He had 22. I was playing against him. You know, he had a good game. I watched the game because I have scary Terry McLaurin. But, you know, it's a big week, honestly. So, yeah, how you feeling about the matchup this week?
I think my matchup's going to be solid. I think I have a chance of winning. But DeAndre Swift getting injured during practice this week really ruined some of my momentum going ahead because he was playing Carolina. We know they're very weak against the run. And, I mean, especially coming off the week that he had last week.
Looked amazing. If you didn't watch, I mean, I'm not sure what his stat line was. I know he caught a receiving touchdown, but talk about the eye test. Swift definitely passed in his first start. He looked amazing. 100%. Ran hard. Could catch the ball. I mean,
very talented kid. And,
rookie.
You know, it sucks that we aren't able to experience that this week because due to this concussion. So now,
who are you gonna replace with him?
Exactly.
You got a few options. You know, Balaj has been really picking it up. Nobody saw that.
Yeah.
But you got AP.
You got Adrian Peterson, but the thing is with Adrian Peterson, I think he's just no DeAndre Swift. He doesn't get involved in the passing game nowhere near as much.
He's gonna have to, damn near. I mean,
this
AP late career AP waits and picks his spots, and this game feels like a great spot for him to go nuts. But who are you gonna go with replacing him? I know you have J-Rob. So 6-team league. I'm really getting frustrated with having so many good players on my bench.
Exactly,
you know, it's really it's a horrible guessing game. So
I just want to get rid of everybody I'm not starting.
That's why I traded, dude. I traded Nick Chubb because I was not trying to debate
every week
between my 3 running backs now who I was going to start. I had to get him out of here for some, upside plays. DJ Moore, Tua. Horrible idea. I dropped Tua already. Picked up Cam.
Yeah,
But so it worked out. But replacing Swift's going to be hard for you. You got James Robinson on your bench though. He's going up against Pittsburgh. We know how the Steelers' defense is.
Yeah, his floor is projected to have a 17 points as a floor.
It's pretty high.
That is extremely
was that ESPN's
high,
projection?
But I don't think he's going to be able to get that just because of how weak the O-line is in Jacksonville. And you're also dealing with a second-string quarterback who probably isn't going to dump it off as much as we would like. It's just so many variables.
Wait.
You got Jake Luton in there.
Oh, Jake Luton.
Luton.
I don't know. I don't know how to say it. He could have been right.
I mean, he's okay, but he's nowhere near the caliber that. I mean,
he's not that much worse than Gardner Minshew, but Gardner Minshew's a pretty low bar to start with anyway.
Well, I will say that Gardner at least was checking down to James Robinson a little bit more.
Luton likes the deep ball, which is we look good, but the Steelers are going to be pinning their ears back. Yeah. I can't expect the Jaguars to be ahead in this game, pounding the ball with J-Rob. So hopefully he catches some passes. Luton's going to have to check down if he wants to move the ball or throw short passes. So we'll see.
Yeah, because, there's just way too many weapons on Pittsburgh for them to even try to keep up. You got to deal with Claypool, Johnson, and then another who else is it?
Juju. Yeah, I'm going up against Juju this week. I really don't like that matchup against Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. And I think the lineup there is, like I said, you got to deal with J-Rob, you got to deal with Claypool, and you got to deal with Juju. But the thing about Juju is
he's looked good.
He has looked great the last few weeks. He's starting to come into his own.
People got really low on Juju. Yeah. I know, across fantasy in general, that was the thing. Someone in our league dropped him, and I picked him up, and then I put him in the trade. In a trade to give me DJ Moore, like I said, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have traded him because he has been looking good, and I have to go up against him this week. I have DK and DeAndre. They got me 23 points combined, so that hurt me. I know my opponent had Russell, who got 20 points himself.
Yep.
In ESPN, the Fantasy Cast has it a 53 to 47 probability of me winning. And I think that's because I have Taysom Hill in at tight end. A little bit of legal cheating going on. I'm going to take advantage of it.
How do you feel about that, having him at tight end, but also being a QB? I mean, he's not a QB that's going to throw it down the field. He's not really going to do that. You're probably going to get more rushing yards with him than anything.
Totally. So, when I saw the report about him starting over Jameis, I was shocked. But then, I went straight to free agents. Mm-hmm. Picked him up. I have Hawkinson because George Kittle got injured. Yep. So as much as, I would like to play Hawkinson, and I was a little worried about Taysom Hill, not playing as much as, the report is saying. Maybe Jameis coming in, but I think the upside for me is too much to pass up. And given how tight end has been this year, Hawkinson's not going to give me 15, 20, I don't think. He might give me 12.
Right.
And if he has a big game, then, that's a sacrifice I'm probably willing to make because Taysom Hill is playing quarterback. He can run. If they bring Jameis in, he still might be on the field catching balls, It's just too much of an opportunity for me to pass up, especially in a week I need to win.
Yeah. So this week, you literally have no
let me say, I said I need to win this week. I think every single game for every single team, given how close our league, is a must win.
Everybody, yeah.
Because if I don't win this week, I have 2 tough matchups to finish the season in Vigors and Mahomes Baby Yoda and Uptown Northsiders. Oh, I'm no guarantee to win those. So if I lose this week, I could finish at 6-7.
Right.
And so at the very least, I want to stay above 500.
Right.
And get that 7th win in the bag today.
Yeah. See, for me, it's kind of the same thing. I got to get above 500.
What are you right now?
I'm currently 5-5.
Right.
And it's not terrible. It's not a bad place to be. It's a very obviously middle ground. But I have to win this because if I don't, then it's almost a guarantee that
the playoffs would be a long road back for you.
Right.
And Sean would go up to 7-4.
Yeah.
And he
can't let him do that.
No.
Can't.
See,
this is already a tough climb back for me because Tyler Lockett got 21 points the first night.
He had a good game.
And I have no players played yet. So, that could still obviously do the change. But I have Michael Thomas going up against
See, how do you feel about Michael Thomas? Because you just said yourself, Taysom Hill, not really a thrower. So.
Right. And hearing that news kind of felt a little bit insulting because I don't think Taysom Hill deserves to be started over Jameis Winston. Jameis
must have looked horrible at practice.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. So
especially against Atlanta, who's got a horrible pass defense.
Exactly. They have a terrible pass.
But Sean, I also think it has a little bit to do with the fact they paid Taysom Hill, and now there's a chance for him to play. I don't think the front office and the coaches want to look foolish paying this man all this money. Mm-hmm. I think it was 4 years, $40 million, I believe, is what Taysom Hill got. I could be wrong, but I think they really just want to, justify spending that money for right or wrong. I think they should have went with Jameis, but
right. You can still try to justify spending your money, but at the end of the day, you still have to win games. And Taysom Hill isn't somebody who's going to come out there, really take charge of the field and have the whole team rally behind him. I just can't.
Who do you have on your bench at wide receiver that could replace Michael Thomas?
The one person that could replace Michael Thomas is probably T. Higgins.
Who they got this week?
T. Higgins plays the Washington football team. But it's kind of like a middle of the road defense.
That's a toss up, right? That's a toss up defense. You know, I've seen him look good. I've seen him look bad.
Yeah, it's.
But
really
I would trust Joe Burrow against Washington's defense.
I mean, especially on a team that just does nothing but throw. I mean, you can't really not trust into T. Higgins, especially him becoming the number one wide receiver on that
are
team.
you gonna trust him and put him over Michael Thomas?
I think. That decision will be, come down to a game time decision.
Right.
A 12 o'clock noon type of decision.
11:59, baby.
Right, because I don't know. It's tough to bet against Michael Thomas, but these last 2 games have just been, God, awful.
I mean, he did.
And it's not like he's playing off. It's just he's not getting any looks. I don't know if they're, double coveraging him. I don't know if it still has something to do with him punching a teammate. I don't know, but
it probably has to do with him not being in game shape, but also I think you're right. Maybe not about double covering. I haven't really watched, but I would be sure that defensive coaches with Michael Thomas coming back, they're not going to let him burn him.
Right.
He's just coming back. They're going to say we're going to have a plan against him. Make Jared Cook beat us. Right. Make a little older Emmanuel Sanders beat us, and they're going to deal with Kamara already.
But I will say that if they're going to try to win games with Taysom Hill at center. They're going to have to give it to Michael. You're going to have to. You can't not. I mean, obviously, can dump it off to, like you said, Emmanuel Sanders, Traquan Smith. You got Kamara. But Traquan, I think, he has a concussion. Emmanuel Sanders, is he back from COVID?
Yeah, he's playing.
Well, if he's playing, like I said, Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas, they have to get them two going.
Right.
There's no way that Taysom Hill can just run it all over the place, dump it off to Kamara, and they're not gonna win like that.
To be honest, they pretty much won last week by dumping the ball off to Kamara.
Well, that was last week because the defensive matchup was a lot better.
Well, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. I don't know. T. Higgins, Michael Thomas, that's a real toss up for me.
It's really
only
tough.
because of I would play
if he was
Michael
James
Thomas
was playing. I'm
going Michael Thomas,
and his numbers went down in the projections as well. He was projected for 15.7, and now he's 12, bro. And that just shows how even the game itself has no faith in Taysom Hill showing Michael Thomas any sort of love, bro.
I don't have that much faith in Taysom Hill, but
given how Atlanta,
I've got to play him in my tight end spot. I mean, how the hell can I not?
I can't not play him against Atlanta, even though I'm gonna be hurt.
All right, so here's another big debate, but this one is on my side. I got Aaron Jones playing Colts D.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to see that. Colts defense is great against the run. And have Miles Sanders playing against Cleveland, who is pretty good against the run, not nearly as good as the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And I just traded for Aaron Jones. I really want to play him, but I just feel like the smarter move this week would to avoid the Colts at all costs, especially now that Myles Garrett is out. So that's a debate I have to rock with. I think I'm going to go with Miles Sanders. He looked great last week.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple touchdowns poached by Clement, and Boston Scott had a 50-yard run. I'm hoping he'll get in the end zone, but I don't know. It's a weird week. This is a big week.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, just with Aaron Jones, I mean, it's just gonna be tough because he's been okay these past few weeks since he's returned.
He had an iffy game against a smash matchup in Jacksonville.
And I mean, the Colts are no pushover, and I always try to tell people
far from it.
So if you're gonna try to play Aaron Jones against the Colts, I mean, he's probably still gonna come out with some receptions. He might get a touchdown. You never know, but I just can't see him getting that much work in the offense. I see them probably trying to go to Devontae Adams a lot more because he's probably the only thing on the Colts defense that we really can't contain.
I feel like the Colts' strategy is gonna be to double Devontae, have safety help every time, and say if you want to throw to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, go ahead, beat us.
Go ahead.
So I honestly think we might see Rodgers throw it around. And, I'm really not liking Aaron Rodgers because it feels like he doesn't want to hand the ball off and he wants to run his stats up. Obviously that's, complete, speculation and me probably just being mad Aaron Jones didn't have a good game. But they're on the goal line 3 times a couple weeks ago. Pass. I'm like, give your star running back a chance.
Yeah. Do you think, hold on, I'm going to ask this question.
I think Aaron Rodgers is in it for stats. To some degree.
He's in it for stats. He's looking for like a revenge season almost after they drafted Jordan Love.
Right.
But
right.
Do you think he's gonna be throwing interceptions in this game? Do you think obviously the Colts are gonna pressure him? Do you think he's gonna get that pressure to the point where
I could see him if we were going over under half an interception? I would say over because he might throw one.
Well, because his O-line has
injuries.
Well, I didn't know they had injuries, but I know they have the best record in terms of.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Of protecting the QB, so they have the least amount of sacks.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, I'm not sure. I don't think he's going to throw multiple interceptions. That's for sure. Maybe one, but I'm not sure. The Colts defense is really good, a force to be reckoned with. I got Lamar this week. I'm predicting a big week from Lamar. Mm-hmm. I have Lamar and Cam. Both have pretty good matchups. Part of me wants to play Cam because I know he's going to score at least one or two rushing touchdowns against the Texans, but I'm rocking with Lamar. I think he's going to have a big week.
Well, because Lamar can too. He can still get a rushing touchdown.
Titans defense has not been scary this week. I do also have the Ravens defense, so I really want them to limit Ryan Tannehill, who's looked a little iffy over the past 3 weeks compared to how he looked.
He's not looking great.
He's fantasy-wise. He's been all right, solid football-wise, but fantasy-wise, he's been trending downward. But, they still got to deal with Derrick Henry, and his backup is out, so it's going to be a lot of Derrick Henry. Thank God I'm not playing Jake this week.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is definitely something that the Titans are going to focus on the most. They have really, Corey Davis, you got A.J. Brown, but I don't know. Their schedule coming up really just says they got to stay on the ground for the most part. They got Indiana. Well, they got Baltimore, Indiana, and I think they got Chicago.
That's some bad running.
And it's just not great all around.
Oh, the Bears kill me, dude. Yeah, I want to root for. I want the Bears to be good. Their quarterback plays awful. Foles is done. Trubisky's hurt. Their defense is amazing. Mm-hmm. If you can,
if you can just get a solid quarterback,
if they could score 20 points a game, the Bears would be nice. But there's nobody on the Bears I would play in fantasy.
No.
Besides Allen Robinson, and that's. You gotta play Allen Robinson. I think. I almost traded for Allen Robinson. Thank God I didn't after Foles got hurt. But
no, Foles took a bad hit. He took a really bad hit.
Drew Brees. We'll see how long he's gonna be out for. I'm only going to be able to reap the benefits of Taysom Hill this week because I know...
I think they may even bench Taysom and put James...
Mid-game?
I think
I'm a little worried. But, they can always line him up. The reason that worry, I kind of forgot about it and I'm just going to play him is because they bench Jameis. He's listed as a tight end. Taysom can line up as a wide receiver, a running back, a fullback, a tight end. So I just think there's enough upside there for me to really smash the play.
Versatility in this scenario to... feel comfortable. I think even though I would say Hawkinson's probably going to score, I think he's going to outscore Taysom Hill. That's
really? Wow.
Because they're just going up against the Detroit.
They had a smash.
Carolina.
They had a smash. Absolutely smash matchup last week. He got me 3.3, and Carolina's good against the pass. Not necessarily the tight end. So I hear what you're saying. I just really hope it doesn't happen. That Hawk outscores Taysom Hill.
We'll have to see.
And I'm going to be flipping back and forth until noon time about.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be debating on my lineup. I think for me, my biggest dilemma, we already discussed, is James Robinson or.
All right. I would say let's do some start sits. Let's do some. Who would you start? All right, so we'll do some people we talked about so far. Aaron Jones or James Robinson. Who would you start this week? Both have piss poor defense matchups. One is proven, one is not.
I would start J-Rob still.
Over Aaron Jones?
I think for me it's still J-Rob getting 20 plus touches a game that says that this guy still has a lot more upside to him.
Yeah, we were
talking. I would say Aaron Jones.
Yeah, we were talking earlier in the week about how James Robinson, no matter what, his floor is going to be about 12 points. Mm-hmm. 10 points, 10 to 12 points.
Definitely double digits.
But, his ceiling, I don't think he'll even come close to reaching this week, obviously, against Pittsburgh. But I can't argue with that logic. Aaron Jones has not been dominating touches like James Robinson has. Mm-hmm. I would probably go Aaron Jones still, though. I know we're biased on our team. But what about J-Rob or Nick Chubb? Who are you taking this week?
Who does Nick Chubb play?
Nick Chubb plays against the Eagles, who have a pretty good run defense, but definitely no Steelers.
I'd probably take Chubb.
He's looking good. He looked great in his first week.
Yeah, he looked good coming back. I like I just like Chubb in general. I like that 1-2 punch they got going on in Cleveland.
Him and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
True.
So I think I would rather go Chubb because it's just a safer play. You know Chubb is at least coming out with 15 points against a decent defense. You know what I mean? Like
right.
he's not gonna single digit you.
So, and I realized this week I was either debating trading Miles Sanders or Nick Chubb. Last week I ended up trading Chubb. Mm-hmm. This week the Browns and the Eagles play each other. I'm playing the guy I traded Nick Chubb to. So this week, really, that trade could define my whole season. Yeah. If Chubb has a 25-point game and Sanders has 12 and I lose,
that's true.
That trade could have cost me the damn season.
That's very true.
We will see. And then let's do some wide receiver ones. Go back to Michael Thomas. Would you rather start Michael Thomas or AB? They're playing the Rams. So
I'd still start Michael Thomas.
100%.
I think right now for Antonio Brown, he's still starting to find his stride. I mean, he's gotten...
He played well last week.
Yeah, he played really well last week. He got like 6 points in his first game, 13 in his second. So I think, obviously the numbers are still going to just go up the more chemistry he creates with Tom Brady.
For sure.
But I would still say this week in terms of my matchup.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The Rams defense is looking better and better every week to me.
Yeah. They were a silent sleeper early on.
Sleeper, man. That NFC West is a great division.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Thomas or Juju?
Juju.
And Michael Thomas, Claypool.
You're
just going all three Steelers receivers?
Yeah, I would say all three Steelers because I'm going against Jacksonville. They have a very, very advantageous matchup against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they just end up running the ball a lot. I got James Conner and DFS DraftKings this week.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, speaking of DraftKings, I had a single game set up for the Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks defense has been horrible all year, so I took Kyler, D-Hop, Chase Edmonds, DK, and Jacob Hollister. And the Cardinals didn't do much of anything. The Seahawks defense looked much better. Carlos Dunlap could get to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Already has 2 more sacks than he had all throughout the season in Cincinnati, so I think he really did help. And I think, I don't know. I'm still like the Seahawks matchups for my wide receivers, but I don't think it's like a guaranteed thing like it was earlier in the season.
I think so too, because there was an interview earlier this week with Pete Carroll where he said, I think we've been getting away from ourselves.
Right.
And obviously that would insinuate he's talking about Russ throwing more than, dumping it off to the running back each game.
Or even just running the ball.
Right.
Because you know what's...
How they used to be with Marshawn Lynch, you would just go up the middle almost the whole drive.
Bro, the running joke was that, dude, you could bet $1 million that the fucking Seahawks are going to run the ball on first down.
Exactly.
And then, they started throwing a lot this year and they looked great, but I think, the pendulum swung a little too far in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
Put a lot of pressure on the defense, on Russ, but also the Seahawks defense get off the field quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, seeing Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde looked amazing.
Yeah.
Seeing them pound the ball more, I think, is going to take pressure off Russ, take pressure off Seahawks defense. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you can just pencil in automatic good game for wide receiver against Seahawks anymore. We'll see how that plays out.
I think now it definitely comes down to matchup. Definitely comes down to who they're playing. You got to know who's shadowing who. I mean, DK is still top 5 receiver.
He's great.
So I mean, you're not really betting against him that often, but if they play like the Rams.
I mean, the Rams, Jalen Ramsey played unbelievable against DK, shut him down. DK had not a good... Oh, yeah, he had a touchdown against Arizona, but still, what did he have?
He came out with
13 points, right, because D-Hop had 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty average week for my big receivers. I still have Terry to play in the wide receiver department.
Mm-hmm.
My trusty Steed, he's not maybe going to go for those crazy games like DK and D-Hop, but he can still capable of having a big, big game, and he's a little more... I mean, I'm not going to say he's more consistent, but the fantasy points the past 6 weeks have been great from Terry. And I drafted him for a reason, and he's really been producing. Unfortunately, I took him 60th overall, and I took Singletary 61st.
Yeah.
That's a brutal pick, man. He's out of the league in our fantasy, obviously.
Yeah, he's not even existent right now.
No, he's out of the league in 10-team leagues, and we're a 6-team league, so that was a poor pick. But
are you playing James? Are you playing Jonathan Taylor this week?
You know what? No, I just did claim him off waivers. I'm going to wait to see how he does against this bad Green Bay run defense.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely going to start.
I think so. I don't have no faith in Jordan Wilkins, but of course, watch this be the week. Jordan Wilkins goes for 102 TDs.
Exactly.
And you have
I got
Nyheim Hines, right? He's explosive, man.
Yeah, he's somebody that, I mean, he's going to get the passing game. He's going to get the goal line touches. It's just a matter of can he get in there? And can Phillip Rivers dump it off to him correctly? All these little variables that go along with betting with Nyheim Hines, especially in this trio of a backfield that the Colts defense or the Colts offense had.
I'm not a big fan of playing any running back in a committee.
Yeah.
And this is one of the more challenging committees.
Well, and another thing is they're just not committing to their like if one has if one of them has 3 great games in a row, they still won't commit to him. Like if Nyheim Hines, he has had 2 great games out of the last 3.
I mean,
and they just won't commit to him. They won't let him start. They won't give him the most touches. It's just very strange that they do that. But I still think
you got Hines in at your flex right now. But
I got him at my flex right now.
I mean, against Jacksonville, game 1, he had 27 points. The next 5 weeks, he had 1.4, 10, 6.2, 5, and 7. And then against Detroit, he had 21.2.
Right.
And then the next week against Baltimore. But, it's a little bit different.
But all those, if you notice, all of the advantageous matchups that you see on there, like against Detroit, Jacksonville, Tennessee, all of those are the games that Nyheim stepped up. Those games where we thought Jonathan Taylor was supposed to step up.
Give you that.
And, I think this game is also going to have that same theme, if that makes sense. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's still going to come out and do his own thing. But I think it's still going to be the Nyheim.
My guy. I'm looking at the Colts. See, this is why I picked up Jonathan Taylor, because listen to the Colts' remaining schedule for run defense. Green Bay, bad. Tennessee, bad. Houston, really bad. Mm-hmm. Las Vegas, had a good week last week, but has been really bad. Right. Houston, again, really bad. Pittsburgh, I'm not going to play in Week 16 against Pittsburgh. Week 17, Jacksonville. That's why picking up Jonathan Taylor I thought could be a league winner potentially for me, because if he does step up and gets his confidence back and they start playing him more and more and more as a lead back, his matchups look great.
I think where I'm going to close off on this is that I think with Jonathan Taylor, him being a rookie and all, say we're making a good run in the playoffs, I think our team's trust in him is going to start to go down because you can still have a good season for him. He started majority of the season.
JT.
But now it's time to buckle down. We got to win games. And, you may have to get less touches because of that.
Right. We'll see. I hope he bosses up because that schedule was juicy. But, I don't like the running back by committee.
Yep, I do not like it.
But I decided on going with JT over Fournette. That's why I dropped for him, because Fournette, well, it's not really a committee, it's just a pairing. Mm-hmm. That's almost worse to me, because it's a 50-50 shot, and I'm not about to play Fournette in the playoffs and get 30, get 3 points, and have Rojo go crazy. I'm not willing to play that game, but
I think this week we both are gonna have some tough decisions to make. We're gonna have to figure it out. But I think we're on the right track. Yeah. I think me and you, our biggest things right now is just the running back situation.
Sure.
And next week we're gonna be able to talk about.
Yeah, we'll check back in Monday probably to see how we fared, if our
predictions
or whatever we talked about paid off. By the way, I'm Lucas.
And I'm Chase.
And all right, we're signing off episode 1 of the Scrubs.
Of the Scrubs.
Yep. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any comments, any feedback? We have thick skin, so if there's anything you didn't like, let us know. But hope you enjoyed.
We'll catch you next time
on the Scrubs. That was great. Yeah. See you.